I'm Ben Goertzel. I'm the CEO of SingularityNET and the ASI Alliance and True AGI and more other AI-oriented entities that I'm going to list right now. And I've been working on building toward AGI really since the 1980s.
And I'm James Barrat. I'm primarily a filmmaker, and I do a lot of stuff for National Geographic and PBS and affiliates in America and around the world. But I'm also an author. And years ago, I wrote a book called Our Final Invention, Artificial Intelligence and the End of the Human Era. And it was during that writing of that book that I had the pleasure of meeting Ben Goertzel. I was interviewing a bunch of experts for an upcoming book, and many of them said, isn't it ironic that we're plunging headlong into this technology and nobody can really explain how it works? I'm talking about generative AI. A lot of very prominent people have said we really don't know how it works. So why should we spend billions of dollars and expose ourselves to a lot of threats over technology that we really don't understand?
Interrogating the particulars of LLMs and such it's interesting. It's important to do. I don't think it's exactly to the point regarding the first AGIs. That said, I think their incomprehensibility is a bit exaggerated, actually. I mean, it's true we don't know exactly what output they're going to give when given a certain query, but I mean, we can probe inside transformer neural nets, and we design new versions all the time. And there's a lot of other important things in technology that are not fully comprehensible to us in different ways. Like quantum mechanics is very hard for folks to understand, and there's a lot of trial and error involved in designing quantum-based machinery as well as math. We don't understand how the immune system works. Like every vaccine discovered has been discovered by trial and error. That's just very often how science works, right?
Existential risk is a big reason why we should stop, not forever, but pause AI. Could AI become unmanageable, uncontrollable, misaligned with human values? Right now, AI is not aligned with human values. I think that people that are very deep into it, as you are, don't understand that we can stop. And we have a history of stopping technologies that aren't really, that are very, very dangerous.
I don't know that we have a history of stopping technologies that are as widespread and easy to do and delivering so much economic value. I'm not sure that's true. I mean, it's like nuclear bombs just don't have, or biological weapons don't have the positive uses and immediate economic benefit that AI has.
Well, asbestos was a darn good insulator. Chlorofluorocarbons were incredibly effective.
AI is vastly more widespread. It can help countries with military superiority. It can help every big company make more money. It can transform every domain of industry, right? So that it's not as isolated a thing. Transformer neural net is simply a large predictor which is trained on a bunch of data, like given a sequence of things, which could be words in many cases, given a sequence of things, make a guess as to what will the next thing be in the sequence, right? And so people train these sequence predictors on like a huge proportion of the text on the internet, and they became quite good at predicting the next token in the sequence, the next word in the sentence, the next program command in the program, right? And they just do that by training them by a sort of reinforcement over and over and over again on a lot of data. So then why these things predict the next word is the, or the next item in the code is a semicolon, is a complex story involving many, many billions of nodes and links on an internal neural net.
Which is the part we don't know.
You don't know exactly why it made that prediction, and you can try to make systems more and more sort of deterministic in what they do, but I think, and there's a bunch of math that would back this up that we can't go into, but I think that's got severe limitations. But I mean, you can put what are called probes in the inside of the network to try to measure what it does to give a certain output. You can make some progress there, but by and large, as we make things smarter and smarter, it's getting harder and harder to tell a story about what happened inside.
They may be getting more and more deceptive. That neural nets are notoriously bad liars. Well, they're notoriously good liars. They lie a lot.
I mean, a neural net is a very flexible technology, so that's sort of like saying computer programs are bad liars. Now, the actual world situation, of course, is quite different because none of us is in charge of the global economy and military situation, right? So from the standpoint of an individual or group developing AI right now, like the question for me or for Meta or Tencent even, the question isn't really what should the human species as a whole be doing, because none of us no one is in control of the world, right? The question is more, given what everybody else is doing on the planet right now, like what's the most beneficial thing for me as an actor in that network to be doing. So I mean, for me personally, I feel like trying to develop AGI which is beneficial and compassionate and is guided and controlled in a participatory way by a broad global network of people, I feel that injecting that into the situation has a better chance of achieving good than me, sitting back and playing music or working on math theory right now.
My point is that you're doing good things, and you're the kind of AGI person we need, but you're not the kind of AGI person we have. We have a few, but mostly we have people that really don't care about human suffering, and so they're causing it. They don't care about liberty. They don't care that we might lose control of these systems. They're not thinking about that. What they're thinking about are dollars. Boy, every time we pull out a new shiny object, people will go for it, and they'll go for it no matter what the consequences are, especially if it pays money or kills their enemies. And we're just flawed that way. And until we've got a way to unflaw ourselves or to think about this in a productive way, I think we should just lay it down and continue to research it, but not use it.
I mean, the people I know who used to work for me, who were in the team at Google developing transformer neural nets, like those guys are just heads down thinking about how do you predict the next token, right? And they're just thinking about the computer science and software and math problems of it. And they certainly are not doing a moral calculation of like, will this technology be used to kill people or how much will it be used for good?
But they should.
I have done that sort of calculation, which is part of the reason I haven't taken a big tech job in my life in spite of plenty of lucrative offers, right? But I think they're not thinking about it that way.
People assume that AGI will free us from drudgery, but will it? If it frees us from drudgery and our boring jobs, will it also free us from purpose, autonomy, and responsibility? There's nothing worse to me than having something else do my job, and I'm sure a lot of people feel that way.
To me, it's pretty clear when you look at how human motivations work and everything we know about human psychology. I mean, I think if we were to succeed in creating an AGI which is compassionate and beneficially oriented toward humans, which is what I'm working on with my colleagues at SingularityNET ASI Alliance, True AGI, and so on. And if that system then improved itself towards superintelligence, keeping compassion and benefit in mind as it drives this process, like if this succeeded and we got a beneficial AGI, I mean, I have little doubt that after a transition period, humans would adapt to it and would find plenty of purpose, meaning, and joy in life going forward in that situation. I mean, we can create art. We can do science and math for its own sake. We can explore the world and climb up mountains. We will still be engaged in our own social network and chasing girlfriends and boyfriends and playing sports against each other. Like, there's all manner of ways we can find purpose and meaning and have our own will and autonomy within our social network of humans and our creations and interactions.
These are subtle problems, but universal basic income and what we do when AGI is here and we're all, unemployed, is someday will be very relevant, and it's relevant to a bunch of people right now. I think it's relevant because I think it's a miscalculation. I think if you pay everybody to do nothing, you'll get very, very, very unhappy people. I think a lot of people get a lot of meaning and value and pleasure out of work, the work that they get paid for. And I think if you take that away and you just say, you just be you be Ewan, and I don't think you'll find suddenly there'll be a lot more poets and a lot more authors. I think there'll be probably a lot more drug users, a lot more alcoholics.
There will be a hell of a lot more musicians, because almost all musicians I know have day jobs, and they'll be really happy just to play music instead, right?
That's true, and that's a good thing. More musicians you can always use.
But one thing we agree on is the bulk of resources in the AI field is not explicitly pushing toward a beneficial singularity, right? It's like pushing toward.
We agree on that, yes.
So I get more power or money for myself, and then the singularity will sort of happen as a side effect, and that's pretty ridiculous from a bigger point of view.
Yeah, how many billionaires do we need?
Yeah, well, we don't need any billionaires. That's right. On the other hand, the capitalist economy has also led to a lot of wonderful things, right? So that's the world that we've self-organized.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Really complex, and I think we are out of time now.
Well, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure talking to you, Ben. I look forward to talking to you again before long.